Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live. Talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynncullenshow@gmail.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Hey there, and a welcome to you, and a happy new year, and here we go, 2024, God help us. It happens to be a Tuesday, so Sue should be there. Hi, Susan.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. So I just read something that I do want to share with everybody. It's a fact. Mice and rats can't vomit.
They can't bond?
They can't vomit.
They can't vomit. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Why does it make sense?
Well, because
bodies need to expel things. I mean, why?
Not this well, because that they live on what other people would vomit.
I bet that's not the answer. I don't know.
Well, they clearly don't have reverse peristaltic action. That's all. I mean,
no,
you know.
I know they don't. So I just want to say, also, this is one of those, lists of facts from the year. This one is compiled by The Atlantic. And I was just going through it. Most of this I don't care about, but a pill may be easier to swallow if you turn your head as it goes down. Why the hell would that be?
Well, it changes the shape of your esophagus, I guess.
Well, Susan, we now know that you were paying attention in biology class because you have said esophagus and reverse peristalsis in the course of the first minute of the show, and I want to congratulate you.
Well, thank you. You think that's a feat? Do you?
Yeah. Well, no, because I could have done it too, but whatever. Okay. I'm just looking for some more, and I'll stop. There's one other, just one. Okay.
Okay.
Because this is interesting. The same molecule that makes cat urine smell like, cat urine is in lower concentrations commonly used in air fresheners. Isn't that counterintuitive?
Not necessarily.
All right. Well, let's hear your take on that. What do you
My take on that is, you know how sometimes they cured tinnitus or however you are tinnitus with piping in a different noise to erase that noise. It just erases it. It just modulates it somehow. So I'm thinking that in smaller doses, that the enzyme neutralizes other smells. Just sort of not by making them go. It just sort of chemically neutralizes them in much the same way as sound would neutralize a different sound.
Okay. Susan is, I've always said, a really good bullshitter. And that's it. What is
that it?
No, that's it for these. Okay. I will. Yeah. I don't know why mice and rats can't vomit. Really upset me. I mean, I feel for them because not that vomiting is a pleasure, but it seems like a really important thing to be able to do. In terms of self-preservation. Because if they eat poison, you know how our bodies immediately recognize a poison and expel it through projectile vomiting. If I haven't told you, my projectile vomiting escaped from poisoning story. I maybe won't. But it's just remarkable how that does happen. So, I mean, and they don't have that capacity, and God knows people are always putting poison out for them mice and rats to eat.
Well, they die.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm saying I feel for them. Poor guys. I don't know.
Well, come to my alley and you won't feel so bad.
All right. Okay. That's true. Does anyone want to hear my projectile vomiting story?
Sure. What a way to start 2024.
I think it might be a very, very fitting.
And for those of you who are still nursing hangovers, maybe you don't want to listen.
Oh, you're not nursing a hangover on the second, are you? Boy,
I wasn't even nursing a hangover on the first, but
no, nor I. But whatever. So here's I was at a friend's house for dinner. I was married at the time. It was my husband and her husband. It was the four of us. And they were very good cooks. So I was excited. And some kind of a stew was placed on the table. And we all started eating. And her husband, not maybe just a few minutes into our chowing down, got up and said, "Excuse me," and ran up the stairs. They only had one bathroom on the second floor. You know, back in the old days when houses just had one bathroom on the second floor. And he ran upstairs. And then he came back down, rather soon after, and said, "I can't believe it." He said, "I just projectiled." And I don't think he had the word out of his mouth. And next, I popped up, ran up the stairs. Within 5 minutes, all four of us, all four of our bodies had rejected this stew, violently rejected.
Did someone go foraging? I don't remember this story.
Yeah. Oh, you don't? It
No.
was unbelievable. I mean, 4 for 4. And we were sitting around, we all are white-faced, sitting around the table, looking at each other. What the hell? And I mean, we're not idiots. And somebody said there's something poison in the stew. And I think it was Robin who made it. She said, "Well, it's just blah, 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 blah." And she couldn't think of a thing. Anyway, we were so stricken, we went and sat in the living room for a while. And while we were in the living room, I looked over, and her dog, whose name was Ernest Reuben, her big hound, had his paws on the table because he saw there's 4 plates full of what smells pretty good to me over here. And Ernest Reuben was chowing down on it. And we told him, stop. And somebody said, "No, let him. He'll be a
test.
He'll be our test."
Because otherwise, so you just know it wasn't sympathetic vomiting.
Whatever. Well, sure enough, poor Ernie, like almost immediately. So there you had, the dogs and us have this capacity where our bodies recognize a truth, something that'll kill us, and expel it immediately. I had never projectile vomited before. It is astonishing, the force at which it comes out. I mean, it's like, pow! I mean, it just pow! It's not like a normal...
Sort of like labor in reverse.
Maybe so. I don't know. I never did labor. So I can't, just like, pow! It was unbelievable. It was fascinating all the way around.
Well, no, that's what's like labor. If your brain was going, "Wow, look at my body do this," that's like labor.
Okay, that's like labor.
You might be screaming in pain, but part of you is standing off to the side with your arms at your waist going, "Wow, look at that, man. Go, girl. Wow."
Yeah. Well, I think labor's a little bit more intense. I mean,
well, it's more rewarding theoretically.
Yeah, well, no, I'm alive. We're all alive to tell the tale. Anyway,
that's right. Did you ever figure out what was poisoning you thusly? Yes.
Yes. Turns out the thing in the refrigerator that Robin thought was a shallot was some kind of a bulb.
Like a tulip.
Whatever that Larry had put in. I forget what. It wasn't a shallot. It looked like a shallot when she chopped it up. It seemed like a shallot. It was another kind of a bulb. Some flower. I have no idea.
It is such a miracle that any of us survived. Routine poisonings.
Right. We did call the Poison Control Center, and Larry did it. He said, this is before the internet.
Right.
We could have
Well, you did the right thing. Yeah.
Right. And they said, oh my God, I can't remember what the bulb was, but oh my God, it's just lethal. One, little teeny weeny thing will kill you dead. It's just amazing how our bodies, 5 bodies, counting Ernie Rubin, bango. None of that.
Well, send some over and I'll put it in my alley.
Oh, okay. I'm fearful since I've started the program in this manner.
It's we're still jolly.
Well, that's fine. No, I just wonder whether to stay on general topic of bodily function. Because I have something now. Was anybody eating? I'm just asking. Because we're going to move. I just have one more.
Is anybody at breakfast?
Yes, right. Is anybody enjoying a little bit of breakfast? Because now we're going to turn to another fact that I found since last we spoke about another bodily function and another bodily function of elimination. This one's not vomiting. Come to think of it, we've already mentioned urine, cat urine, right?
Yes.
So what's left?
Well, it's either feces or sweat.
Feces.
Mucus.
Ugh. Okay, stop. It's poop.
Well, you have no imagination. You can't think that there's only one left.
Okay, but I mean in general, those are the biggies. Poop. And I have it here. I'm looking, and there's a headline with pooping in the title, okay?
Okay.
Okay, here it goes, and this will blow your minds. Pooping is good for your brain. This is amazing. I think if you're a constipated person, you might not want to listen to the rest of this. Okay.
You mean not sitting on the toilet endlessly, but the actual act of evacuating. Of evacuating
the more
waste.
you poop, the smarter you are. That's what it says.
Oh, terrific.
It says an analysis.
Silver lining. Who knew?
I know. An analysis of studies. Now, granted, it only involved about 110,000 humans, but it did find quite clearly. The associations were so strong that the researchers were like, oh, wow, that constipated people, and we will now define constipated people. Those are people who have a bowel movement once every 3 or more days.
Oh, my God. If you were in our family, we'd take you to the hospital for a bowel obstruction.
Now,
That's what killed our grandfather.
Some of us cannot even conceive of going a day, let alone 2, let alone 3.
Well, by day 3, I'd have a migraine headache and be violently ill.
Well, I can't imagine. Anyway, it says if you're one of those poor souls, you do save on toilet paper.
Oh, I'm sure.
Anyway, it says here that those who are besieged by that kind of constipation, what is it? At least 3 years, that they have equivalent to at least 3 extra years of chronological cognitive aging. If you ain't pooping, your brain it's hard on your brain. The constipated had a 73% increased risk of cognitive decline.
Well, that must be why Mother's brain isn't quite as good as it used to be. It has nothing to do with the fact that she's 101.
101, right. So those, it says, who poop more than once a day had only a 37% increased risk of cognitive decline. I mean, half of what the constipated people have. I'm just saying. So if you're like a really constipated person, that's just another reason to be unhappy.
Treat it.
Well, geez, what? I mean,
I can't imagine living that way. I mean, I assume treating it reverses the effects.
Well, I don't know. God, you never know about people. You know, I just assume everybody poops. There's that kids' book.
How can you do that when you have all these ads with women sitting on toilets saying women poop, and if your poop feels like a pineapple or 2?
Stop it!
Well, it's clearly a common problem.
I guess it is. I'm glad I don't have that one. God. So you know what? I've been watching a lot of movies because I got nothing to do. And, you think you've seen a movie. And I've realized over the last few weeks that I've seen a lot of movies, but maybe missed the first 15 minutes. Or I never saw the beginning. Seriously. So a few movies I saw from the beginning recently, and I realized that, whoa, but one stuck with me in a really bad way so that I can never even think of it again.
But you are. Here you are.
Here I am because I wanted to share this with you. Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Uh-oh. The whole beginning just screwed it up for you, huh?
Well, because there is a portrayal in there that is so grotesque, that I literally almost choked. I happened to have been eating. I thought, what? It took me, listen, I don't even know how to say this. It's, Audrey Hepburn and Holly Golightly. It's based on a Truman Capote story. Holly Golightly's landlord is played by Mickey Rooney, who is pretending to be Chinese. Oh,
I forgot about that.
And it is the most grotesque,
caricature. Yeah.
I literally could not believe what I was seeing.
Like there weren't any available Chinese actors.
Yeah, or that somebody didn't say, this is this is ridiculous. A little over the top there, Mickey. I mean, what? It was, that's it. I don't even know if I can even look at Mickey Rooney again. Boy, I can't believe I have no memory of ever having seen that. But then I wonder if I did, and I thought nothing of it back in the day.
Yeah, I remember that. You probably did and thought nothing of it.
Whoa.
Well, good. You learned. You know, we are making some progress, even though we are, running backwards as fast as we can.
Jeez. Man alive. Okay. So I'm going easy on you today, aren't I, Suze?
You are. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. Did you watch Maestro?
Do you know what? I finished it last night. I had started it and I got interrupted somehow, and I really wasn't that into it at the time, and then just didn't go back. And I had mentioned that to somebody on New Year's Eve who was raving about it. And I said, I don't know. And she said, oh no, you've got to go back and finish it. So I, being easily, intimidated, I went back and finished it. And I must say, I did, I couldn't sleep last night. And part of what my brain was doing was thinking of her performance. There you go. See, that's what I took away from that movie. Oh my God.
She was magnificent. She's worth watching the movie for. And listening to some pretty good music, but it was,
to some good music.
Right.
And he grew on me as it went on and became more Bernstein.
As they age him, he looks more like him, and it's less jarring.
Yeah, but whoa, what just wow. That's all I can say. Wow. Woo.
Yeah. That's would be exactly my review.
Yeah. Wow.
But I don't, to be clear, I do not think it is. It's getting all these raves and blah, 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 blah. It's not a great movie. It's a pretty good movie, and you should enjoy watching it on television.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would agree.
Although I read in the New York Times, I don't know when it was published, but I managed to get around to reading it today, someone just screaming about the theater experience, how if you
Yes. About how the movie never starts?
The movie never starts. And that and he was going to see this Scorsese movie, which clocks in at 3 hours and 25 minutes or something like that anyway. And he got there late so as not to have to sit through, the 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And he said, and it was still, even accounting for that, 35 minutes before the film started.
Right. Who would go to a movie when they subject you to that? And
then he did say in his film, he did say, and besides that, the movie was too long.
I watched that one too. Not in a movie theater. I rented it. And I thought it was pretty good. I did.
Well, his films are always pretty good, but I'd be much happier watching it in my home with a bathroom.
Well, that's what I did.
And the other thing is the proper volume.
That's another thing.
I can't.
It hurts.
The beginning, it hurts. It's painful to me. And it was enough to make me stop going to the movies before the pandemic.
Right.
Because I thought I was making myself deaf.
Yeah, the volume of movie audio, plus the 7 hours of previews and other crap they make you watch before the thing you came to see comes on, is just, it's a deal breaker.
Well, and apparently in the theaters, you have to sit through an interview with, I don't know, Brad Pitt or something, or no, what's his name? The guy
Scorsese
that only dates.
And DiCaprio.
Yeah.
DiCaprio.
DiCaprio, thank you. all I could come up with is the guy that will only date 18-year-olds and gets rid of them when you're 25, and someone should have figured that out.
Well, and there again, I mean, the acting was remarkable, and and especially the female lead again, just doing this nuanced, just with her face at rest, conveying more than any histrionic actor could ever do. I mean, just really remarkable. Oh, so.
Okay, so watch all these women, these movies for the women. Yes. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, that's the first time of 2024, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. Here's how my brain works. Mentioning Bernstein.
Yes.
By the way, Bernstein, all these Steen names.
Yeah, is it Bernstein or Bernstein? What?
And that drives me crazy. And all
me too. I go back and forth all the time.
I know. I cannot keep it straight. I mean, technically, I was thinking, this is another thing I was thinking when I couldn't sleep last night. Stein is a German word, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's pronounced Stein.
Right. I mean, we got cousins with that name. It's Stein.
So how come people...
And by the way, there are other names that are Steen, and it's spelled Steen.
Yeah, so how come when there's a syllable in front of it, all of a sudden the Stein becomes a Steen, and you don't know when? Like there's, Well,
because it's the family that decides. Or the community that decides if, like, sort of, for example, in the case of Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah.
Whose name is clearly Shalhoub. But growing up, nobody in the community could be bothered to pronounce it correctly. And immigrants didn't like to speak up. So Shalhoub it was.
And you're saying, did we tell this story before? No.
Maybe I don't know. Didn't we? I don't know.
I think we did because Tony Shalhoub grew up in Green Bay and went to
high school. Yeah,
and it was Tony Shalhoub. Tony Shalhoub. Right. And but no, it was as soon as he got out of Green Bay, he reclaimed his name, Shalhoub. So. Well. So anyway, no. What made me think about this is I have an obit. It's not an obit that Susan, you will probably know, and I don't know that I would have if she didn't have a Pittsburgh connection. But Bernstein is mentioned in her obituary. So then I thought, oh wait, here's the real Lenny, not Mr. Cooper, and her name is Mildred Miller Posvar. And she got a big write-up in the New York Times. She was a great opera singer at the Metropolitan for decades. But she married a guy. Her name was Mildred Miller. That's how the opera world knows of her. And that's what her obit says. Mildred Miller, stalwart of Metropolitan Opera. And, but we knew her here as Mildred Posvar because she married this guy whose name was Posvar. Posvar. Wesley.
Yeah, Posvar. I'm following.
Okay, Wesley Posvar, whose name rings a bell with Pittsburghers because he was the president or chancellor, I don't know exactly the proper title, of Pitt, University of Pittsburgh. And so she came here and she raised her family here. Her daughter lived across the street from me when I first moved to Pittsburgh. Really nice woman who later became the spokesperson for UPMC for some time. And Mildred, when she got here, still went out and sang some, but she also founded the Pittsburgh Opera. And that opera, it says here, has served as it's notable for the development of emerging opera stars. She was a huge force in opera in that regard. And here it says she had a second career as a leading figure in the artistic life of Pittsburgh. Anyway, she made her opera debut at Tanglewood, which gets mentioned in the movie Maestro,
right?
Because there were rumors that he was screwing around with everybody and anybody there.
There weren't rumors, there were eyewitness reports.
That's right. Whatever. When he had a libido.
Let me interrupt to say that I was at a New Year's Eve party this year, much to my amazement, and was speaking to a woman, very cute woman that I met, who was, my age, maybe a little older, who said that she asked me if I'd seen the movie, and I said yes, and she said, I didn't know any of that. I said, you mean that he was gay? She said, no, how would I know that? I said, I don't know, but I think I've known that for forever. I mean, first I knew the guy in the Saturday concerts as a child, but my adult knowledge of him was always more fully fleshed out, I think.
Well, I wouldn't say he was gay. He was bi.
He was bi. Right.
He was bi. He just loved people.
But he also loved his wife.
He loved his wife. And so that is like the love story. Her death scene, by the way, one of the better death scenes I've ever seen. An actress pull off. I mean, just brilliant. Anyway, in Mildred Miller Posvar's obit, by the way, she was 98 years old.
Yay.
She had made her debut at Tanglewood, it says, at the American premiere of Benjamin Britten's Peter Grimes under Leonard Bernstein, who she later said conducted with his fists. Which I thought wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, he was so intense when I could see it, but that's what she was thinking. My God, he's shaking his fists at me all the time. Conducted with his fist. I had I met Mrs. Posvar at an event maybe about 10 years ago. We sat together for a while, and she was, Susan, how some women are just have such presence, and are so beautiful and welcoming and intelligent and all. And she was all of that. I was just enthralled and felt so lucky to have finally met her. I knew of her, and she was just amazing. She would have been I would imagine she was about 90 at the time I met her.
That's sort of like our mother with everybody else.
Yeah. Where she can pull that off too. Yeah. Right. So, okay. I don't know. Are we gonna?
I don't know. Are we?
I don't know if people will be unhappy if I don't just take a break a little today before we get into the horror of.
Well, there's this. I mean, grant us a little grace if we are all exhausted.
We are, and
if we have empathy fatigue. If we don't know what the F to do about any of it. I mean, they're writing articles about the way all of us, every single one of us, feels. I sat down today to read the newspapers, at 5:00 in the morning when I woke up, unfortunately. And, I think I'm reading the newspaper, but I swear, Washington Post, it takes me about 3 seconds and I'm down to Carolyn Hacks.
You can't bear to read it.
I can't. That's what that. This is for or else. I think I read something about Travis Kelce, and it's really rather amazing.
The way,
his managers. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Wait, okay. No, you brought up football. I just want to say, yet last night I watched 2 great football games. College. I mean, these were determined, the Rose Bowl and the Orange Bowl, right? Deciding who would play for the national championship. Whoa, were those games good? It was great, exciting. It's another reason I didn't sleep because
right,
yeah,
nail biters.
But really, that is entertainment. You see the every emotion that you can imagine, fear, delight, rage, everything, joy. And you can see it on the faces of those in attendance. And everything is at such a high level, the emotional level, that it really is mind-blowing. Anyway,
when I was sitting the last time that I was in Green Bay at a lecture, and I had the privilege of sitting at a table with Sherilyn Eiffel, and she was talking about football and why she's such a fan, in spite of its gladiator nature.
Yeah. Right.
And it's because of that. It's because it takes people from all different walks of life, in every shade and hue and class, and makes them all one. Or at least 2. One against, but part of a team, and you are all sharing together. In companionship, the same thing. She said, I think it's terribly important.
Yeah.
And okay, I get it.
Yeah, I get it too. So, and I'll just say, way to go Steelers and way to go Packers.
Yeah.
Both our teams are finishing strong. So just want to say. And
all we have to do is beat the Bears, the Packers, and oh, holy help! If we don't
they have to do more than that?
No. The next game
people have to do.
No.
If they beat the Bears, nobody else has to lose.
No.
Oh wow! The Steelers. First of all, the Steelers are playing the likely Super Bowl champions, the Ravens.
Yeah.
But who won't be playing their first stringers, I would imagine. Anyway, no, we don't. Even then, we're not. It's not a done deal. But whatever. It's ending on a higher note. I was shocked at this. What do you think it costs? Okay, you go to the Empire State Building. I mean, it's not the icon it used to be, but you say, I got to go up. I'm in New York City. I got to go to the top of the Empire State Building. Do you know it never occurred to me that you had to pay to do that?
Oh, listen, I remember it cost like $15-20 back in the late 70s. When I lived
really?
There. Yeah.
See, I know. Okay, well, so I lived there too.
Or the equivalent, maybe I'm just doing the inflationary thing, but I do remember being shocked at the time and going, I don't really even care.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I lived in New York for 2 years. I never even thought of going up to nor did I go to see the Statue of Liberty. I'm thinking that when you live in a place, even a place like New York, you don't do what
especially
if you were just. It's so
especially
odd.
When you live there, you're just busy. In a place like New York, if you live there, in my experience, you are so busy with with living there that you don't go to Broadway shows, you don't go to the Statue of Liberty, you don't do any of that stuff. Yeah, I mean, you do it when you have company in town.
Well, I think for Pittsburghers, the same could be said here. You don't go see the amazing museums or stuff that we have. Most people don't, unless you're showing them off to some visitor. It's odd that, you know, in your own home town, you often give all these things short shrift. But I never realized that it would cost money to go to the Empire State Building. I mean, my sense of going to the top of the Empire State Building is all those movies, the old ones and the remakes, like, you know,
right,
of meeting up at the, you know, Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks at the top of the Empire State Building, or Cary Grant and who knows what. And is it Deborah Carr? I can't remember. Anyway, they just go up. You get in an elevator and you go up. So I came upon this fact that in 1931, the cost to visit from the very beginning, there was, you had to pay to get up there. In 1931, it was $1, which is equivalent.
That's expensive.
In 31, that is equivalent to about $20.
Yes.
So when you're thinking $20, that was probably
accurate.
Right. And now, this is what blew me away. Today, a ticket to the observation deck is $80.
Yeah, I was going to say 100. So
what?
Okay.
But that means people can't. Only people with money get to do anything anymore. It's upsetting. Anyway, I got upset.
But correct.
Well,
now, the World Trade Center, at least when it existed, you could go to the top because it was the restaurant. And whether you had a reservation or not, you could go up there and you could, you know, sit at the bar and have a drink and wander over to the windows. And so there wasn't a charge other than a drink, which coincidentally cost $100.
God. Okay. I'm trying to where to go. Okay, Suze, I'll go where you I got Susan sent a text to her siblings about sometime this last weekend saying, "Did you see this?" And I know I hadn't, but and maybe you had. Susan said it was a story that she saw in the NBC Evening News. I saw it. I was shocked that NBC Evening News would have done a story on it, but then the next day it's in the New York Times. And the story is...
I had to look it up. My brain had rejected it. I had to go to my messages to see what I sent you. I'm going, oh, God, yeah, that.
Oh, my God. So the headline is, University Chancellor fired after making explicit videos with wife. And there's a picture of the two of them.
And he's a handsome guy.
Well, they're a good-looking couple, older couple. He's 65. She's 50-something. And
well, she does sexy cooking videos, you know, and I don't know, he gropes her.
Sex tapes. Yeah. He says they have a show called Sexy Healthy Cooking. This is his quote. This is the Chancellor's quote. We have that show, Sexy Healthy Cooking, where we interview performers, porn stars, who really humanize them in ways that you wouldn't get in their other work. And he says it's an interesting process. And the people that we work with are completely professional and very great to work with. So, yeah, they're cooking. They cook meals with porn stars and then have sex.
It sounds like the beginning of cable in New York. When we were first there, I was endlessly fascinated by, they just some guy with a camera, filming anything naked, anybody doing anything naked. It was just stupid, but that's what they're doing basically.
Well, no, because they're doing sex. I mean,
well, they are doing sex, yes.
They're doing sex.
This is why rats can't vomit.
Excuse me? This is why rats can't vomit? I don't understand that, but it was funny, but I didn't get it. Okay. So
I don't either. It's just where my brain went.
Okay, so I have to tell you, he's 63. He has been the chancellor of the University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire. Big state schools have satellite schools. University of Wisconsin has one in Green Bay. There's one in Eau Claire,
everywhere
around the state. They're all over the place. But these are not small schools. Is 10,000 students at the UW Eau Claire, and it's lacrosse.
I think it's lacrosse.
Okay, well then maybe it's lacrosse. You're correct.
Okay.
It's another one of them French place names.
Right.
Lacrosse or Eau Claire. Clearwater or lacrosse.
Fond du Lac.
It's all this French stuff.
Or Alloway.
Alloway. Easy. Yeah, it's all these French names because the French, ladies and gentlemen, were up there in the 1600s. As they were first here in Pittsburgh as well. They were out there. It's just the English then came in and did what the English do. They took everything.
Yeah.
So
they said, "Excusez-moi."
So this is University of Lacrosse. Anyway, he the head of the board of the University of Wisconsin, there are 13 universities, said that the board was alarmed and disgusted by his actions and refused to specify what they were. They fired him and wouldn't say what he'd done. But he happily did.
Yeah, he protested.
He said, well, what? Hey, we do this. We do this. We do this stuff under Sexy Happy Couple. And it's wrong for them to infringe on my freedom and my wife's freedom of speech.
Doesn't he understand that? No, it's not. I mean, they don't have to hire him.
No, and they don't have to keep him. And the First Amendment ain't going to help him here. He's toast. So
being that pornography has been notoriously tough along First Amendment lines.
But I have to say, what is with a guy who is at that level? And he and his wife have been doing this for years. It's their thing. They love it. They love doing it. Fine and dandy. But they just decided recently to make them publicly available on porn websites. And they had just been thrilled by the response. They were stars all of a sudden.
Oops.
Now, yeah, but what? I can't even.
It turns out it's conduct unbecoming a university chancellor.
It makes him a laughing stock. And I mean,
it makes the University of Wisconsin a laughing stock.
Well, it says here, though, and this is what's interesting, for a guy with obviously a blind spot in his judgment in this regard, he was a very good chancellor.
No, he was good at his job, which is probably why he escaped so long.
Well, I don't know. It said he grew the school's full-time undergraduate enrollment at a time when enrollment at other Wisconsin campuses were declining significantally. He bucked this trend. Maybe he had
I'm going, oh gee, I wonder why. Come to the chancellor's on Saturday night for a little get together. Have you been to the chancellor's parties? Nah, who'd want to go? You should go. No, I'm saying you should really go.
And in September, he had announced he was going to step down and just return to being a professor and making porn films. And then they found all these things, and all hell broke loose. And I don't know. He there you go. And he's going to, yes, fight it for all the good that's going to do him.
Well, it's not hard to see a lapse in judgment here that I would think would be critical to the continued efficient exercise of his of anything to do with the university. As a parent, would I want that man teaching my 18-year-old daughter?
His wife said, "It's not what we're about in higher education to censor people. These videos are only available to those who are looking for that kind of content. If they seek it out, they're free to do so." Okay, that's fine and dandy. What I find interesting is that in this day and age, where there is no shame and there's no sense of when caught with your pants down, literally, just
say, I'm sorry. I really screwed up. No, the constant doubling down. This is very Trumpian.
Yeah. We've all learned to never say I'm sorry. Boy. Ellen writes, "It's so true about not going to see the places in your own city. I grew up in and around New York City, but never went to see the Statue of Liberty or to the top of the World Trade Towers until I had moved away and then went back to visit with new friends who had never been to New York. And likewise, I've been in Pittsburgh now for 40 years and have never been up one of the inclines. I have also never been to the top of the Empire State Building." Well, okay, Ellen, take a ride up the incline. It's
fun.
It's fun. You go up, you come back down, and you go home. You go up, you take a little walk, enjoying the view, and you come back down. But it is, I think I only did it twice. I mean, unless you have to use it for...
Yeah, there's a certain been there, done there quality. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Oh my God. Okay, can we do more factoids or not?
Yeah, feel free.
I think so. So I'm not going to do any more.
This is a soft landing into the new year.
Okay, here's one that could be... No, I won't do a factoid. I will do one that can just be a little bit maybe... I learned a new word this... I just kept seeing a word used as if it's been there forever. And I thought, when did I miss this? And I have to say, as people know me, that I just sick of this stuff. Okay, here's the word. I think it was in that social cues column, Susan, the part of the paper you read, where somebody wrote in and saying that they had a friend who has decided to identify as neurodiverse.
Right.
Okay. Now, I thought
But
What?
I remember that letter because it amused me, and the question was that they use it as an excuse for everything, and isn't therefore everybody sort of neurotype? You know,
well,
it
I
was
know she says she's obnoxious. She's capable of all kinds of obnoxious behavior, but she now says, well, because I'm neurodiverse, which then gets her off the hook, she thinks, for being
Right.
obnoxious. I just present in a different manner. But then I started to see neurodiversity. I saw it 2 or 3 more times. And I thought, wait a minute. Who isn't neurodiverse? What the
That's exactly
F
right.
does that mean?
It's the state of the human condition is that, you know, aren't we all unique little flowers in our own little blossom?
Little snowflakes.
Yes. So, you know, in some way we all diverge from that neural norm, whatever it is.
God. And I just really, I thought, that's it. I'm done. I mean, neurodiverse. How about we're human? I mean, what? Neurodiverse.
Well, there's also something else here. There's something else at play, which is the expectation that we are to accept people as they are, no questions asked.
That's right.
Regardless of the sort of willingness of the participant and the ability of the participant to get one's behavior to conform to basic societal norms. Nothing too strange, just basics. So in spite of one's actual ability to do it, one has a instinct not to do it, gives into the instinct, says, I'm neurodivergent, and we're all supposed to say, yeah, well, I don't like it when you pick up your plate and throw it in my lap.
Yeah, right. I don't like it when you say nasty things all the time about, no, I just, I looked it up and it said, and part of it is brains function differently, giving some special challenges and some special advantages. But again, it begs the question, what's the point here? I mean, yes, of course. Now, our brother, because I brought this up to him, he
went nuts.
Take. No, he didn't. He had an interesting take because he said he's been seeing it too, and he went, He says he thinks this is mostly to get rid of the term autism.
Well,
or
this is ridiculous.
On spectrum. I know. It's
ridiculous. First you have to accommodate it, and now you want to not notice it.
Now you can't even say it. Yeah, I got to tell you.
I mean, the fact of the matter is it's time for us to look at, do you have a condition that is debilitating? Is there a cure for it? Is there something that can be done to help that condition? And, and if not, then that is something that as a society we need to sort of accommodate. Otherwise, we're all, I'm anxious, I got to get over it, I mean, or I don't live my life. I don't ask everybody else to just smile and look benignly when I come in a room. No, you be you, and I'll try not to be anxious.
Things are getting out of control. We can atomize ourselves into a billion different identities. I got news for you. No one is just like me. That makes me very special. But I'm not going to ask you to, I identify as uniquely Lynn Cullen. So go.
That's right.
Yourself.
But sometimes I'll just tell you that we at home around a dining room table do ask Lynn Cullen to not be so uniquely herself.
But you know what we lose here? Our common humanity.
That's right.
Fracturing us into these identities This is the kind of thing, and this comes from, again, the left, the university left, the intellectual left. I am so sick of it. I think they're all insane. I'm sorry. I'm just not into their particular kind of.
Well, I certainly don't think that what they have done to the college classroom and what they have done to the students sitting in the college classroom is helpful to anybody.
Oh, Kurt,
I mean, right. I don't think people understand that professors got to get a list of rules of what they can and cannot say, and who they can and say it to, and what questions they can and can't ask, and what exemplars you may or may not say.
You know, you can't. You cannot have people so tongue-tied. They don't know what to say, what they can say, what they can't say, because some friggin' snowflake might get, and we brought up an entire generation or maybe two of people who think they're never supposed to feel uncomfortable. I got news
where their whole lives should be, where each individual life should be accommodated.
God damn.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't. The job. Okay. I mean, I sent my kids to school saying they had two jobs. One was to learn the lessons, and one was to learn how to get along with the people that were in charge. That's just part of it. Learning how to navigate that. And, you know, not liking your teacher, for example, didn't count. Well, get over it.
Yeah, I remember when I was sort of upset when my son, for his, I think, second grade teacher, got assigned to one who I thought was like cold cucumber. And I thought, oh, I don't think that's a good fit. And I said something to a friend, and she said, well, go tell, go to the principal and me. And I thought, no. I know that's what parents do now, but no, because I agree with Susan. I was not happy, but part of what education is learning how to deal with what gets presented to you, even when you're in second grade.
Right, and even that everything doesn't get to be exactly the way you want it. You have to start learning that young so that you can accommodate. And then as a parent, you have to learn that too. But
showing how wrong I was, Susan, that
she was wondered. That turned out to be the best teacher ever.
She adored him, and he, that was good. I was stunned, just stunned. Anyway, we're pretty much out of time. But Kurt wrote in, I think you may have stumbled on the origin of euphemistically referring to people of limited intellectual capacity as slow. So he's saying those who are slow to poop.
Right.
I'm sure, but you know what? Listen, there were lots of very brilliant people who were constipated. Famously, Martin Luther, right? Wasn't he the one who was so constipated that he created? And I don't know. I think that's true. I mean, a lot.
I don't know. You know, I know a lot of things, but I confess I do not know about Martin Luther's constipation.
Okay. Well, check it out.
Nice full circuiting, though. That's nice.
Oh, yeah, indeed. So thanks, Susan. I had no idea this would be so easy a first-time outing for 2024. God knows there's going to be a lot of harrowing ones.
Yeah, Happy New Year's, guys. I know we're all exhausted. Just pick up, get enough strength out there to go and vote. That's all we have to do, okay?
We have to get other people to vote, too.
Well, yeah,
we gotta work. Work. Vote. Never has anything been more important. Good God in heaven. Thanks, Suze. Are you going up to Green Bay?
No. I'm going to Philadelphia.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah, and anybody who's on that side of the state and wants to pop in to see Mary Poppins at the Media Theater right outside Philadelphia, feel free. I hear the woman playing Mary Poppins is absolutely spectacular. Okay.
I hear she's your niece, so I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah, okay. And she is. very, very good.
She's
All
quite
right,
talented.
guys.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you all. See you tomorrow. And Susan, safe travels.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.